Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we're playing with beautiful flowing stretches to open up the entire body and unbunch you, body and mind. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify where you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to start off for today's class, setting ourselves up towards the top end of the mat with enough room to lunge, step back. And I'd like you to heel toe your feet in so that you're standing in a narrow mountain with your ankles and your big toes flush against each other. Just start by standing up nice and tall. Find a root in mountain. Tadasana, start squeezing the energy between the inner thighs together, almost as if you had a yoga block between your two thighs. Start drawing up that energy from the mat all the way to your crown, root through all 10 toes, and then keeping that sense of length in the spine. I'd like you to bend at the elbows and place your hands on your shoulders, fingertips just softly cupping around your shoulders. Bring the elbows up in line with your shoulders. Stretch as long as you can through the elbow points. And then start tracing a big circle with your shoulders as slow as you can, reaching as long as you can through the elbow points. Trying to maintain that sense of length through the spine and keeping your chin at a comfortable parallel line to the mat. Then change up your circular trace and give me a few circles in the opposite direction. Keep your breathing long and soft. Then drop the hands down heavy to the mat and reach or sweep them up behind you, either staying here with long fingertips reaching for the wall behind you, or give me an interlace. Try to make it a tight interlace and bring your two palms together, making a little fist, and then reach as long as you can through your knuckles as if you were trying to tap the wall behind you, and try to draw the two shoulder blades as close together along the midline of the body as you can comfortably manage. Hold that stretch. Take a few deep breaths here, breathing as deeply as you can into the front and the side of your ribs. Then uninterlace the hands and place them on your hip bones, keeping that sense of length through the spine. Think knee to nose on the left, and then start tracing a big circular pattern with that leg out to the side of the room. You can tap your toe out on the mat if you need to, or if your sense of balance is good today, you can keep that whole foot floating off the mat. Just trace nice, big, slow circles through the hip. Then step back towards the midline and repeat on side 2. Tracing a big circular pattern through the hip. Taking that leg out to the side of the room and then bringing it back. Tapping out or floating, depending on how your balance is feeling today. Then come back towards the midline. Look down towards your feet and heel toe out so that your feet are in a comfortable parallel stance now. Ankles stacking underneath your hip bones. You're going to begin by softening your knees and allowing for a comfortable S-curve in your spine. Then focusing only on the pelvis. You're going to tilt your tailbone to the 12 o'clock position so that it feels like you find a soft little contraction in the core and an almost lengthening in the lower back. Bring it back to neutral. Let's do that a few times. Nice and slow. Slow pull into the 12 o'clock position with your tailbone. Pause there. Look for that length in the spine and try to drop your shoulders away from your ears. Then bring it back to neutral, keeping that soft micro bend in the knees. Keep your breathing long, soft, and relaxed. One more time. And then we're going to work a slow pelvic circle, tracing a full 360-degree rotation through the hips. Keep tracing that circle 5 times in one direction. Keep that soft micro bend in your knees. And then change it up. And take a really slow, seductive belly dance in the opposite direction. Look for that delicious stretch in the lower back. Then softening your knees, you're going to flop or fold forward, thinking chest to knees. So it comes down as low as you can. Drop the back of your hands to the mat. Hang here for a bit. And then ragdoll style, leading with the back of your ribs. Peel back up. Nice contraction in the core. Restack, realign your body. Bring both hands into your lower back. You can either give me fingertips down or fingertips up and come into a supported back bend. Pausing here, looking for that delicious stretch into your lower belly. Then exhale and fold forward again. Draping yourself down, hanging here for a bit. Then ragdoll style, peeling back up. Find your back bend. Pause. Take a nice deep breath in. Fill your lungs to max capacity. Let's flop down one more time. And as you come down this time, you're going to give me a little ragdoll sway side to side, keeping your arms totally relaxed, hanging off the shoulders. Then keeping your knees bent, place your hands on the mat and take a big lunge step back with, let's step the right leg back. Take a nice big lunge step back. And then just gently sway your body weight back and forth. Open up the groin area gently. Make sure you've got knee over ankle on the lead leg. Then end with the weight forward. So thinking of leaning forward over the front of your mat. Bend the back leg. Connect it to the mat and peel up into a modified lunge. Make sure you've got knee over ankle on the lead leg. Hold that stretch and place your hands on your hip bones. Find that little neutral spine that we played with from a standing position and give me a repeat of those little pelvic tilts. This time, I want you to focus on trying to open up the hip flexor on the back leg. So you're going to feel a little stretch from the inside of the back hip bone down the top of your thigh. Give me a few slow tilts here. End in the tilt, hold it, and then float both hands to the outside of the lead leg, pulling the leg in towards the center line as you resist with the knee. Hold, maybe peeking over that back shoulder to the back of your mat. And then untwist your trunk and take a step out to the side of the room with your lead leg so that that foot is more or less in line with your knee. We're going to come into a half camel stretch and then we'll play it up. Place your left hand on the inside of the knee, draw the knee back and come into a gentle back bend, maybe placing your right hand in the lower back on the right just to support your frame. Pause here. Take a few breaths, breathing as deeply as you can into the front of your rib cage. And then bring your chin line back to neutral and we're going to come into a modified side angle. I'll give you a side and a front view. You're going to drop your left hand down to the inside of the left leg. Front view. From your half camel line, drop that hand down to the mat and float your right arm up to the ceiling. Stay here. If you need to, you can take a block, maybe just placing the block on the inseam of the leg if your hand doesn't quite reach the floor. And then stay here, or you might elect to be a little playful and bring it into a bind. Maybe softening that whole bottom arm, tucking the leg between, the arm between the legs, and then bringing both hands behind your back into a little bind. Hold wherever you decide to play. Just going to reorient myself on the mat. And then peel back up. Coming to a full camel, you can either keep the feet relaxed behind you or maybe you'd like to tuck the toes under. Let's support the back today, or you can play freestyle, bumping your hips forward, supporting your lower back as you think of bringing the two shoulder blades together and opening up as much as you can through your chest center. Take a couple of deep breaths here, thinking of floating the two shoulder blades and the elbows maybe closer together along the midline of the body. Then unbunch, come into a high kneeling frame, drop the arms at your side, nod your chin to your chest, and look for length in the spine. Then ease your way into a 4-point kneeling frame. From here, hands underneath your shoulders, knee points underneath your hips, and we'll play in cat-cow. Take a big breath in as you give me a hollow shape through the back, taking your chin and bum bones to the ceiling, finding cow. And then on the exhale, transition through neutral spine, rounding out your back, hollowing out your belly, and begin oscillating dynamically between the two frames. Playing at a 1 to 2 inhalation to exhalation, so I want you to hold the cat stretch for a little bit longer and really try to stretch into those areas of tightness between the shoulder blades and in the lower back. Find a beautiful flowing rhythm of your own. Maybe using a nice active breath pattern, if you like. And then ease your way into a neutral line, somewhere between your cat and your cow. And we're going to stretch on the diagonal. Let's do right arm, left leg coming into extension. Holding that long stretch, trying to keep that sense of length through the arm, neck, back, and leg. Stay here or give me a very slow reaching tap, tapping that floating arm and leg to the floor, pausing, looking for length through the big toe and the pinky. Inhale to float back up. Slowly tap at the same time, reaching as tall as you can through those extended limbs. Keeping belly to spine. Come back to your tabletop top stretch and place both hands on the mat, looking for that sense of length through the back leg. Then tuck the toes under and find your way into a plank line, pushing off the mat. Maybe you'd even like to give me a little plank sway back and forth, just stretching into the back of your legs, belly nice and flat. Come to stillness and chaturanga down, using the knees for support or keeping the integrity of your plank line as we chaturanga dandasana to bring us down. Bend through the elbows, maybe hovering off the floor for a second, and then releasing the whole belly to the mat, relaxing the feet in parallel and nodding your forehead to the mat. Keeping your elbows tucked into the center line, hands alongside your bosom, fingertips looking towards the front of the mat. Let's bring it into a baby cobra. Find a little marble underneath your nose. Roll the marble away from you to the front of the mat. Start peeling up really slowly as you can, looking for length in the entire spine. Stop just before your bottom rib disconnects from the mat. Drop the shoulders and the elbow points heavy to the mat and start looking for that additional length in the spine. Then as you peel back down, slide the arms out in front of you and lift both legs up off the mat as your forehead connects to the mat, and hold that double leg lift, stretching long through the big toes. Hip bones digging softly into the mat. Then float your whole body down to the mat and just take a couple of recovery breaths, making your whole pelvis nice and heavy into the mat. We're coming into a full Extended locust, combining both the chest and the leg lift. In one sweeping motion, think of rolling that marble away with your nose. At the same time, start peeling your chest, your arms, and your legs off the mat so that you're almost in a bow-like frame, maybe palms in. If this is too much for your back, maybe just come closer to the mat and give me a more parallel line with your nose, your arms, and your feet hovering just off the mat. So just find the line that works for you and hold it, looking for length through the fingertips and the toes wherever you decide to play. Then bleed, whisper softly back down to the mat. Maybe just relaxing your whole body into the mat for a second or two. Then tuck your toes under, bend at the elbows and place the palms alongside your bosom. We're going to work a reverse push-up to come into a Pup Dog. You can use bent knees at first if you need to. Try to keep the legs extended if you can. Push into the toes and the palms coming up into a plank line. And then bow shape the back slightly as you did in your locust, almost reaching forward over your toes and stretching into the lower belly, arcing slightly through the spine, but not collapsing towards the mat. So pushing strongly through the shoulders, finding that control through the core. And then bleed your way from here into a down dog stretch, piking your bum up to the ceiling. If you need to, you can give me a little pedal at first, just to relax the back chain of your legs if you're really tight. And then settle into the stretch, almost trying to forge a triangular frame between the arms and the legs. Hang your heels as heavy as you can to the floor, even if they're nowhere near to touching. Just send energy down through the heels. And then soften the right knee, keep that limb bent, and start to trace a big circular pattern with the right leg, opening up the knee to the side of the room and then bringing it back while trying to maintain the integrity of your down dog frame. Just give me a few big traces with that knee, trying to open up a little bit more through the hip. Then take a big lunge step out to the outside of your right hand. Drop the back knee, shin and foot, or you can keep the toe tucked under if you prefer. Make sure that your hands are stacking underneath your shoulders. Right knee is softly out to the side of the room, and just lean your weight forward slightly. Hang here. Maybe looking over the right shoulder and pushing the right knee gently away. And then either staying here in your low lunge or morphing into a high lunge by tucking the back toe under, bringing the knee up off the floor, while still maintaining that soft push of the right knee away from you. We're going to try to find our way from here straight into a modified squat line. Drop your right hand down so that it's flush against the inseam of the right leg. Step up the back leg, stepping into a deep squat, and then open up, maybe pushing your left knee away while you place your right hand on the inside of the right leg. All right, hold that stretch. And keeping your feet softly splayed out, think mini plie, you're going to peel back up to the center line, maybe using both elbow points to open up both knees in your deep squat, Malasana. And then peel up, reaching for the sky with both sets of hands. Take a big standing stretch here. Big inhale in, and on the exhale, come back down into your squat using your elbow points to push open those knees. Do that a few times, finding a little rhythm of your own, stretching up nice and tall. Toes are softly splayed out to the side of the room. As you reach for the sky, I want you to give me the flattest belly that you can and really stretch from your hip bones all the way to your chest line. End in the low squat. And then soften your hands. Pretend that you're holding onto a basketball. Drop the basketball down, pick it up off the floor, stop with a soft bent knee, hug the ball towards your chest and then push it away. Then bring the ball back to your chest, drop it down, pick it up. Playing with a little modified horse, push the ball away from your chest, bring it back. Drop down, pick it up, push it away from you. Bring it back to your chest one last time. Bring your hands to prayer and heel toe your feet in. Coming back to your original standing frame on the mat, standing up nice and tall, squeezing the energy between the inner thighs together. Place your fingertips softly on your shoulders. Make your elbows heavy. And then start tracing that big circle with your elbow points. Slow as you can, reaching as long as you can through your elbow points. Giving me a few traces in one direction, maintaining that sense of length in the spine, and then change up and circle in the opposite direction. And feel that energy humming between the inner thighs. Look for that length in the lower belly and the back. Then drop the arms long and heavy, reach back. See if you can fist the hands. Reaching through your knuckles to tap the wall behind you. Float the two shoulder blades as close together along the midline as you can. Almost pushing up softly through your fisted hands. Stretching quite deeply into the shoulders and breathing as deeply as you can into the front of your ribs. Then unbind. Place your hands gently on your hips. Soften through your knees. Find that little tilt to the 12 o'clock position, pausing, holding that soft contraction in the belly, and then easing your way back to neutral. You can keep it flush this round, or you can open up the feet back into parallel if you prefer. Play with both leg lines and see which one you feel most comfortable in today. And then start morphing into a full slow belly dance, giving me a full 360-degree rotation through the pelvis, keeping belly to spine as you're playing. And then trace your little circle in the opposite direction. Then soften through the knees, fold forward, think chest to knee. So Chandra Uttanasana as you come down. Flop down, pause here. And then ragdoll style, peel back up, leading with the back of your ribs to come into a supported back bend. Pushing softly, just at the top of your bum, either fingertips down or fingertips up as you take a gentle back bend. Bring it back into the soft forward fold. One more little back bend. Fold it forward. And once you fold it forward, think of that gentle ragdoll sway side to side, keeping your arms long and dangly, maybe draping softly over your mat. Let's take a big lunge step back with the left leg this time. Find that little sway back and forth, just coaxing the groin area to open up gently. End with the weight forward, so as if you were stretching over your front foot. Bend the back knee, relax the foot to the mat, and peel up into a modified lunge. Make sure you've got knee over ankle on the lead leg. Place your hands on your hips, and let's play with that little pelvic tilt, slow and controlled. So start in neutral spine, tilts to the 12 o'clock position. Look for that contraction in the core, that lengthening in the lower back, then bring it back to neutral. Play with a few tilts, looking for that awesome stretch into the back leg. Keep your breathing long, soft and even. End in the tilt, hold it, and then twist towards your lead leg, cupping both hands to the outside. Pull the leg in towards the center line. Resist with the leg. Hold that stretch. Take a few deep breaths here. Look for that sense of length in the spine. Untwist your trunk and let's find the half camel line on the right. Stepping the right leg out to the side of the room. Front view. Place the right hand on the inside of the right knee. Pull the knee back and just support your back on the left as you come into a gentle half camel. Trying to open up your belly, your chest, your throat center to the sky. Stay here or find your modified side angle by sliding the right arm down and placing it on the inseam of the leg to open up into a soft T-frame. Reaching as tall as you can through the top hand. Either stay here or ease your way into a bind by softening that whole bottom arm, tucking it through between the legs and seeing if you can bring both hands behind your back into a little bind. Hold that stretch. Just going to reorient myself on the mat. Take a few deep breaths here, trying to open up as deeply as you can through the left side of your ribs as you peek up to the ceiling. Then think of finding your way from here to a full camel line. You can keep your feet soft and relaxed behind you, or you can tuck them under. You can support the lower back, or maybe you'd like to reach back with both hands for the heels. Just play with it, see where your body wants to be. Find Ustrasana, camel, and just hold. Breathing as deeply as you can into the front of your ribs. Then unbind and ease your way from here into 4-point kneeling. Start moving through cat-cow. Inhale to prepare, taking your chin and bum bones to the ceiling. Exhale to round out. Find a 1 to 2 inhalation to exhalation ratio. So if you, let's say, inhaling for 4 counts as you find your cow, double up on the exhale and give me a slow count of 8 as you round out into the cat. Really trying to stretch the skin at the back, almost as if those ribs wanted to pop out through your back skin. Just enjoy that beautiful unbunching of your body. Relish it. Find your way into a neutral tabletop line. We're going to stretch on the diagonal opposite side now, arm and leg coming into extension. Reach as long as you can through those 2 sets of limbs. Try to tap the wall in front of you and the wall behind you. And then give me a slow tap, but focus on reaching as tall as you can through both the fingertips and the toes as you tap those limbs to the mat. End back in your tabletop line. Ground both hands to the mat. Tuck your floating toes under. Find your way into a full plank. Maybe gently swaying with that weight back and forth. And then Chaturangaing down, using your knees or keeping the plank line as you ease your way down onto the belly. Relax your forehead to the mat. Keep your elbow points tucked in. Set up a gentle cobra, keeping those elbows squeezed into the midline. Find that marble underneath your nose. Focus just on the chest lift as you come into the cobra. Gently starting to peel. Find your baby cobra line. Hold it, looking for that sense of length in the spine. So don't throw your head back. Rather think of just looking softly off the front of the mat and try to grow the spine from the lower back all the way to the nape of your neck. Then as you peel down and come back up, slide the arms out in front of you and float the legs off the mat behind you. Giving me a double leg lift and reaching as long as you can through the tips of your toes. Then bleed the legs back down to the mat. Take a couple of soft recovery breaths. We're going to come into a full extended locust from here. In unison, you're going to peel your chest, your arms, and your legs off the mat, coming into a slight bow frame, or more of a Superman line if you prefer. And you're going to hold that stretch wherever you decide to play, reaching long through your fingertips and your toes. Then bleed your way softly back down to the mat. You're going to find your way from here into a plank line. So place the hands alongside your body. Tuck your toes under. Push through the palms, the tops of your feet, coming up into a plank. Then maybe bow shape slightly through the plank, coming into a modified up dog, but not collapsing into the mat. So you're pushing strongly through your palms. You're trying to stretch from the lower belly towards your sternum. Morph into a down dog, pedal it out for a bit if you need to release the back of the legs. And then try to hold that stillness, dropping your heels down towards the floor, taking a few gentle breaths here. Looking for that almost triangular frame on the body. Let's play on the left when you're ready. Soften the left knee, keep it bent, and start opening up that leg to the side of the room. Just giving me a few wide traces. You're going to use that circular trace to set up your low lizard lunge. So using that momentum, you're going to swing, step forward, legs slightly splayed out to the side of the room as you allow that foot to connect to the mat. Relax the back knee, shin, and foot. You're going to slightly knife edge that front foot. Use your left hand to push the left knee away and just hold that stretch. Stay here or tuck the back toe under. Bring the knee up off the floor. Keep that stretch. Now step up the back leg and take your reach. Doing it to both sides. Ease your way back to center. Find a little cactus frame. Use your elbow points to open up through the groin. Keep those feet softly splayed out. Big inhale in as you float up to the ceiling, tapping your fingertips to the sky. Exhale to squat low, using your elbow points to push open those knees and inner thighs. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to drop down. Let's do that one more time before we come into that little horse flow. The next time you drop down, start pretending that you're holding onto a big basketball. Tap the basketball to the mat, drop down, pick it up. Keep that horse stance, so a nice little bend in the knees as you draw towards your chest and then push the ball away, bring it back. Drop down, pick it up. Hug it towards your chest, then push it away from your chest. Bring it back. Drop down, pick it up. Last time. Bring it softly back. Drop down, come back into your squat line and float your hands into prayer. Using your palms flush against the midline, pushing the elbow points nice and wide. Then keeping your knees as wide as you can, so don't allow them to fall in. Reach with your fingertips for the front of the mat and just softly fold forward. Then sit down on your bum. You can float the hands behind you if you need to sit your bum down. Extend the right leg, bend the left. Just hold on to the outside of your foot and your knee and just gently find a modified Hindulasana, rock the baby. Giving me a nice gentle rock here. Come to stillness. Step your left foot over the right leg and hug towards that leg. So you're twisting towards the top leg. Use your elbow and your palm to just hug that whole thigh in towards your chest while bracing softly into the foot of your extended leg. Pause here, looking for length in the spine. And then think of that little knee push that we did in the lizard line. You're going to twist in the same direction as your top leg, and you're going to push the left knee away with your left hand while using the right fingertips to just prop your spine up as tall as you can. Then float both hands behind your back as you untwist through the trunk and focus on your extended leg. Lean into the right bum and see if you can bend the right knee and tuck into a half Lord of the Fishes seat, making sure you've got space for your bum bone as you come down into the twist. Twist once more towards your top knee, using your elbow point and your palm to just gently hug that thigh in towards your chest. Pause here. Then try the twist in the opposite direction using that little knee push. So as you twist in the opposite direction, you use the left palm to push the left knee away, using the fingertips of the right hand to just prop your spine up as tall as you can. Make sure you're not leaning everything into one bum bone. So try to have both bums as connected to the mat as you can comfortably manage. Then coming into full Hindulasana, rock the baby from here. Just make sure you allow that bottom foot to slightly slide forward, almost as if you were coming into Sukhasana. Bend your left leg, reaching for the foot and the knee as you rock your baby, or if you've got the range of motion, bend your right elbow, place the foot into the crook of your elbow, maybe binding around the thigh, and just gently allowing your back to soften as much as you need to as you gently rock your baby. Give yourself a few breaths here. Maybe hugging that whole thigh in towards your chest. Holding still for a few moments. And unwrap both legs, extend them long and lengthened on the mat, pushing into your feet, and come into a gentle Paschimottanasana, folding forward. Maybe this means that you just gently cup the top of your thighs or place your fingertips on the mat. Or maybe you're reaching around for the toes or the balls of your feet. Maybe using a block and placing it between the two legs and just leaning in. Or maybe using a block or a strap to wrap around your toes and hold the stretch. Find the Paschimottanasana that works for you and just hold. Try to lengthen the lower back. Take a couple of deep breaths, just breathing as deeply as you can into the back of your ribs. And then peel up. We're going to find our way into intense east from here. Make sure that you've got enough room to drop the feet to the mat. Sitting up as tall as you can. Place both hands on the mat alongside you. Fingertips can either be looking towards your toes, or you can give me fingertips looking away from the front edge of the mat, whichever feels good for you. You could even give me a fisted line, so making a fist and dropping your knuckle points to the mat. You're going to drag the hands behind you. Lean back, so think of a little L lean back, whether you're fisted or hands connected to the mat. You're going to relax your feet to the mat. You're going to bump your hips up towards the sky and hold. If this feels uncomfortable, maybe change your leg line and give me a small V with your heels together, toes softly splayed out, and then think of knife edging your feet and pushing up from there. So just see what works best for you today. And then as you bring your bum back down to the mat, you're going to think of finding your way back into that squat line. So bend the legs one at a time, splaying them out softly. Walk your way up into your squat line, bringing your hands into active prayer, pushing into the palms, using your elbow points. So really push those knees open just a little bit more. Make your bum bones as heavy as you can to the mat. And then try to extend your squat. Not dropping the knees in, so keeping them wide as you reach your fingertips forward. Taking a little extended stretch here. Keep belly to spine as you chill out in your Malasana. Then ease your way into a seated frame. This time, extending the left leg out, taking the right leg, reaching for the foot and the knee, rocking your baby gently. Step the right foot to the outside of the left leg, hug towards your top leg, using your elbow and your palm to just gently hug that whole thigh in towards your chest, using the other fingertips to just prop your frame up nice and tall. Then twist your trunk in the opposite direction, using your right hand to push the knee away. Maybe looking over the back shoulder as you come into the twist. You're going to find your way from here into your half Lord of the Fishes. Unbind your trunk, maybe placing both hands on the floor behind you. Focus on the extended leg. Roll into that bum, then bend at that knee. Tuck the leg underneath you, making sure you've got space for both of your bum bones. You're going to twist towards your top leg again, using your elbow and your palm to just hug that whole thigh into the top of your body, trying to almost hug it into your chest. And then keeping the integrity of the frame, you're just going to twist in the opposite direction, using your right hand to push the knee away, looking over the back shoulder to the back of your mat. Give me a few breaths here before you think about finding your way into full happy baby Hindulasana. Make sure that you've got space on the bottom leg. So as you unbind the legs, maybe slide your bottom foot slightly forward. Grasp hold of the foot and the knee and rock your baby here, or come into the full expression by trying to tuck the foot into the crook of the opposite elbow. And then just finding a little comfortable rock here, allowing for a softening of your back as you rock your baby. And then maybe hug that baby into your chest and just hold. Unbind when you're ready and find yourself into a soft forward fold, Paschimottanasana, draping yourself softly to the top of your thighs. Maybe hands on your shins, maybe hands on the floor, maybe wrapping around your feet. Maybe today you need to use a block or a strap. Just see how your body feels. Never judging, just moving with what your body wants to give today. Unbunch yourself. Keep your breathing long, soft and even. And then ease your way gently from here into intense ease, sitting up nice and tall, placing the hands alongside your hips, leaning back, dropping your feet to the mat, piking bum up towards the sky, holding that inverted plank line. And then as you come back towards the mat, you're going to just bring yourself down. Well, let's actually end in a high butterfly line before we come down. Bring the soles of the feet together. Walk your way up towards and maybe come into a little toe hold. So using your thumb, your middle and your index finger, you're going to wrap around the big toe of each foot. Think of pulling the toes up towards your nose as you make your knees heavy to the floor. And then just hold that butterfly stretch. Stay here or float your butterfly. Think boat. Tip the weight off your tailbone and see if you can coax the feet off the floor. If that feels good, maybe try extending one leg. Bring it back. Try the other side. Bring it back. Maybe try both together. And bring yourself back to butterfly. And this time, try to wrap your hands around your ankles if you can. Just hug the ankles in as close towards the perineum as you can. Make the knee points as heavy as you can and make your spine as tall as you can. Stay or play. Tip the weight off your tailbone, keeping that wrap around the ankles. See if you can open up the leg to one side. Bring it back. Try the other side. Bring it back. Try both together. Bring it back. One last time. Find your butterfly line, and this time, tuck the hands underneath your ankles and your feet. So you're almost holding on to the feet, stretching down a little bit more through the arms and the spine this time. Hold that line or tip the weight off your tailbone, almost as if you were setting yourself up for a seal rock. And then try extending, trying to keep the wrap around the inside of the leg, if you can. Just do what you can. If it's not happening for you today, don't worry about it. Then try both legs together. Peel your way back to center. Drop your hands to the mat and just fall back softly to land on your back and bring yourself into a bridge line. Start with the knees bent and the soles of your feet connected to the mat. Find neutral spine, that little space between your lower back and the mat. We're going to articulate up into a bridge, keeping your feet and your knees hip-width distance apart. Tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Imprint your lower back. Pause. Find that little stretch, and then leading with your tailbone. Float your hips up to the ceiling while disconnecting your back line from the mat. Peeling up nice and tall into your bridge. Once you're at the apex of your bridge, just try to stretch from just below your chest all the way through the lower belly, all the way through the tops of your thighs to your knees. Then articulate back down, leading with the back of your ribs, but keeping that sense of length through the kneecaps as you almost hollow out your belly, and then tilt your pelvis back into neutral. Take a big breath in and come into a little figure four by placing the right ankle on the left thigh and opening up the knee to the side of the room. Take a big breath in, keeping that figure four shape. Float your left foot off the mat and think left knee to nose and hold that stretch. Replace your left foot on the floor. Keep the figure four position and try to peel up into a soft bridge in one flowing motion, piking both hips up evenly as you can towards the ceiling. Peel back down, leading with the back of your ribs. Keep the figure four shape on your legs. Big breath in. Float the left knee up to 90. Scoop to peel up off your shoulders, maybe feeding both hands to wrap around the back of the left thigh. And then keeping a sense of softness through the chin and the neckline. Just see if you can bleed your head and your shoulders back to the mat. Keep the figure four frame, unbind from the back of your thighs, and come into that little figure four bridge, piking both hips up towards the ceiling. Peel softly back down to the mat. Think knee to nose on the left. Scoop to peel up, wrapping around your thighs. Maybe extending that whole left leg up to the sky. Peel softly back down to the mat with your head and your shoulders. Unbind from the back of the thighs. Ground your left foot to the mat. With your middle index finger and thumb, see if you can reach for the big toe of the right leg, or you could use a belt or a strap around the foot and extend the leg up towards the ceiling, taking a little A-line stretch, maybe T-shaping your left arm for support. Maybe even opening up into a B-line stretch, opening up that leg as far as you can to the side of the room, while looking your head in the opposite direction. Keep anchoring through your opposite shoulder. Come back to the midline with the right leg, maybe bending the knee, maybe coming into half a happy baby hold and hugging that knee in towards your chest while keeping your supported leg bent today. Then ease your way back into your original bridge line. Come up into a full bridge, both hips piking up evenly towards the ceiling. Look for that sense of length from below your chest, through the belly, through the tops of your knees. Keeping that length through the knees, start articulating back down through the spine, leading with the back of your ribs, almost hollowing out your belly before you tilt back into neutral. Then find your figure four on the other side. So the left leg splaying softly out to the side of the room. Find your figure four bind. Take a big breath in and draw the right knee up to 90. Keeping the figure four shape, drop your right foot to the floor and peel back up into a bridge line. Piking both hips up as evenly as you can towards the ceiling. Breathe softly back down. Keep your figure four shape the whole time. Think right knee to nose. Then scoop to peel up off the shoulders. See if you can wrap both hands around the back of your right thigh. And then as soft as you can, bleed your head and your shoulders back to the mat, trying to intensify that stretch. Keep the figure four shape, but unbind from the back of your right thigh. Peel back up into your figure four bridge. Looking for a sense of evenness. Rock if you need to. Peel back down. Keep the figure four shape. Think knee to nose on the right. Scoop to peel up, bind around your thigh. Maybe kick that leg up to the sky this time. Peel your head and your shoulders back down to the mat. And then as you unbind, reach for the left foot. Bend the right knee, anchor through that foot. Give me a big toe lock if you can. And open up that left leg, trying to kick the whole ceiling away with your foot. Maybe T-shaping on your supportive arm. Hold your A-line stretch for a couple of soft breath cycles. And then when you're ready, maybe gently open up to the side of the room. Your leg drops to the left while you float your head softly in the opposite direction. As you think of coming back to the A-line stretch, you're going to morph into a modified happy baby, bending that left leg, maybe reaching for the undercarriage of your foot. And if the undercarriage of your foot is not an option, maybe just gently reaching for the back of your thigh and just hugging that limb in towards your chest. Maybe just giving me a nice tug down. And then think of finding your way from here into a full happy baby. Let's play with a little toe lock today. So give me a toe lock on the left using your middle index finger and thumb to grab the big toe of the left leg, replicate on the right. And then if your whole tailbone has come up off the mat, just relax your tailbone into the mat. Maybe gently rocking side to side. Trying to iron out any bunching that you might be feeling in the lower back. Relax that whole tailbone. And maybe coming to stillness, tugging down through the toes, making your knee points nice and heavy as if they were rolling around your chest and aiming for your armpit. Then come into a floating butterfly, keeping the big toe lock if you can, or maybe electing to wrap around the ankles if you prefer. Think of that little bow shape. So round out your back, hollow out your belly. Try to hug your heels in towards your perineum. And then end off your practice today by just coming into Shavasana, corpse pose. Think soft starfish frame. Toes looking past the corners of your mat. Arms soft and relaxed at your side. Maybe softly splayed out, palms looking up to the ceiling. Close your eyes. Take your focus inward and just start to soften, relax, and release your whole body into the mat. Make your breathing long, soft, and even, and stay here in Shavasana for as long as you need to end off your practice for today. When you're ready to come out of Shavasana, just bring your hands to gentle prayer and close off your practice with Namaste. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today on the mat. Hope you enjoyed. Give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Remember to shoot me your comments. Make sure your notifications for this channel are always turned on, and be ready for Pilates on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.